I was just coming by, and I realized there's a Highland and a Cybertruck in the showroom. And I thought to myself, okay, Tesla's delivering on some promises. I usually give them trouble for not delivering on promises. I've only noticed two things so far from a build quality standpoint. I'm just going to get that out of the way. The steering, when you articulate the telescoping part of the wheel, hear that? Okay, that's pretty bad. I don't personally recall. Oh, is it gone? Oh, there it is. I don't recall any power articulating steering wheel making a sound like that before. So that's one thing. And the other is I'm looking at the rear view mirror. I'm just glancing at it to make sure they're adjusted correctly, and I'm seeing a lot of orange peel of the paint. So that being said, I am going to take off. I just swiped forward to select drive, and it's really not so bad. I mean, I get it. Interesting. It feels already like a very different car. Steering effort is, I feel like it might be a little lighter than I recall. It's also maybe a little less hyper. The weighting still feels pretty synthetic, but it's not, I don't have that objectionable kind of repulsive feeling that I had the first time. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with my feelings on the Model 3, had 3 deposits on them, myself, my brother, my parents. First time I saw it on the road, first time took it for a drive, both, it just demolished any chance of that. Yeah, immediately. Refinement, reasonable, really reasonable. Entirely different car. And it's exactly what I was hoping they would do with the car. It's like precisely what I was hoping to do with the car. It just was always so crashy, so boomy. I think they did it the way I would have done it. Soften up the tire, reduce the unsprung weight, focus on where that noise is coming in from, and quell a lot of that suspension noise. And it's still not a quiet car, but at least it's competitively quiet now. I think before it was like they had more refined vehicles on that show Little House on the Prairie, you know, like Gunsmoke, like literally a covered wagon feeling. Definitely don't like this turn signal thing. I wonder if it would take getting used to, and is it something that I could get used to? I don't like the design of the interior. I don't like the design of the steering wheel, but as far as like the actual feel of the wheel, I keep reaching for a turn signal stock that isn't there. Something I do like though is when you make the lane change, you actually don't have to cancel the signal using the camera. It sees, hey, he has achieved that lane change. Now, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but why wasn't this a thing sooner? Why didn't it stop itself from blinking sooner? It seems like a pretty obvious thing we could have achieved a while ago. But so kudos there, Tesla. My praise for Tesla comes only as frequently as it's deserved, and I'm happy to be able to have some praise for a Tesla product. I think that this car is now what I was hoping for it to be when I had placed my original deposit before launch, the original launch. It'll take me a moment to see like what I would improve further here. The suspension is still a bit overly firm, I would say, but maybe they just felt like they couldn't go too far with it. Maybe alienate. There's some structural booming there. Again, it's more competitive, but it's not by any means class. I wouldn't say it's class leading. The gentleman I spoke to, he was drawing comparisons with Lexus and things like that. I don't think they're quite there. Maybe it's a Lexus CT, in terms of Lexus. It's not much more than the very base of the basic. I'm trying to think of where would I put this compared to an IS300, like the original IS300. I think it would take some more time with the car and maybe a refresher on the old car. But yeah, the bar across the dashboard with the fabric, I think that material's nice. I like that the door bins are now fleeced and lined. I don't know if you're able to go to like chill with the driving mode. Let me see. Yeah, chill. Let's try that. I think I like that a little bit more. And then I'm gonna play around a bit with the steering as well. Something that surprised me though was you're not able to choose your regen anymore. It's fully on, and that's the way you better like it. So far, no problems with that. But I'm pretty much a moderately high regen guy, so no surprise. The curve is pretty nice. It's not jerky, and it has a little bit of a smoothing to it. But this thumb-operated turn signal idea, I love the self-canceling aspect, don't get me wrong, but having to poke at a very small area the size of your thumbnail has to be one of the dumbest UX moves. I mean, get used to it or not, it's just a bad idea. And the button moves around on you, right? It doesn't have active steering like the Cybertruck. It doesn't have steer-by-wire like the Cybertruck. So this wheel has to articulate more than 90 degrees in each direction. And so your hands have to move on the wheel. So it's still just it's this cost-saving measure. It's just a bad idea. And there's no other way to put it, unfortunately. But as a car, I'll tell you, I think the BMW i3 has a more satisfying acceleration feel. I guess that's where that low weight comes into play. I can say that because my girlfriend's purchased a 2015 i3. Still one of my favorite EVs. And that car has a more zingy step-off feel, even after they tamed it a bit from the original. That car also, from a driver engagement standpoint, far beyond this. Now that car, not necessarily any more refined than this. It's a different type of busyness or crashiness on certain surfaces, but I will say, I've got 30 minutes with this car. I'm about 5 minutes in. I'm ready to give it back. I've got no qualms with giving it back at this point. Let's see here. Yeah, just kind of strolling through a neighborhood, playing with the regen a bit, seeing how it is. One-handing the car like a lot of people would do. I mean, it's fine. I think what I'd say is they almost, this is natural, but they almost overdid it when it comes to polishing the stone of its rough edges. It doesn't have, how do I say this? It doesn't have a Tesla-specific voice at this point. That's a criticism that might be unfair because it's okay, well, it was too Tesla before and now you're saying it's not Tesla enough? What's the deal? Okay, I get it, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like I enjoy a Camry more than this. A lot more than this. And I don't particularly enjoy a Camry, I just find it to be very competent. But even those, there's a lot of lateral rocking with this car. It almost makes the car feel more narrow than it used to feel. It feels less planted in some respect than it used to feel. So that's interesting. So I'm just gonna park it for a moment, run inside a place, and then when I get back out, I'll add some more impressions. Park.